Now I know that I usually review only horror stuff, but let me be honest, I love SpongeBob, so I'm gonna review it anyways. So let's talk about the most horror-like SpongeBob episode there is. Let's be real, as a little kid, we're all pretty scared of the hatchling slasher at first, and even more scared of Nosferatu that made an appearance that episode. Now there are more horrific and creepy episodes in SpongeBob, like A Pal for Gary, where SpongeBob gets what he thinks is a snail to accompany Gary, which turns out to be a huge monster. Another being Squidbob Tentacle Pants, where Sandy's experiment ends up fusing Squidward and SpongeBob together. Squidward, desperate to separate the two, uses a device which fuses everyone close together, with the episode ending in honestly this frightening scene of everyone fused into each other. Although those have horror elements, I wouldn't consider them as trying to be horror episodes. Graveyard Shift, on the other hand, definitely tried to be scary, with the whole episode revolving around the hatchling and slasher, pretty much showing homage to slashers. The episode begins with the Krusty Krab seemingly closing up for the night. A customer comes up to order, but Squidward rudely says that they are open. Once the customer mentions money, we all know what's gonna happen next.
You mean, if we stayed open later, you'd give us your money?
Sure.
Mr. Krabs tells Squidward and SpongeBob that they are open again, and the two will be working the night shift. SpongeBob in his usual self, annoying Squidward and just embracing the night shift with positivity.
Here, please hit me as hard as you can. Don't hold back.
Later that night, SpongeBob is taxed on taking out the trash, but he's intimidated by how far the trash is. And let's be honest, all of us had this fear of going out to take out the trash while it was dark out, running as fast back as we could back into the house, or in this case for SpongeBob, back into the Krusty Krab. Squidward uses this to his advantage and scares SpongeBob with this.
Hash slinging slasher. Most people just call him the Hat. Because that's all they have time to say before he gets up.
After SpongeBob gets the hang of saying the name, Squidward tells him that anyone who encounters a hatchling and slasher only is able to yell before getting it. At this point, SpongeBob is just repeatedly screaming in fear, to the annoyance of Squidward. As a little kid watching this at night, I was petrified. I was just some dumb little kid who was probably watching the scariest I've ever watched at this point. Definitely scary that a SpongeBob episode was implying that the hatchling and slasher was killing his victims with a hook. So after Squidward ends up telling SpongeBob that it was all a joke, he then starts to laugh to the annoyance of Squidward. Later that night, Squidward hears some strange noises, but it turns out to just be SpongeBob who's plunging the ceiling. This isn't even a scary part of the episode, but Squidward saying he needs Krabby Patties at 3 a.m. in the morning, and then cutting to Patrick is probably one of the funniest things in SpongeBob.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
The lights begin to flicker and the phone mysteriously rings, with no one talking on the other line. SpongeBob laughs as he thinks Squidward is messing with them again. The walls begin to ooze, but Squidward just busts that off to always happening. And another funny scene.
Oh, wait, they always do that. But what was that third thing?
A bus mysteriously stops in front of the Krusty Krab, and when Squidward sees the hatchling and slasher, he goes nuts. Again, me as a little kid was absolutely scared, petrified, horrified, and all the above at this point. Squidward hairstrings coming up was so unnerving as we never really seen Squidward's hair. It was all just pretty strange, to be honest. SpongeBob brushes his off again to yet another prank, crying in happiness thinking that Squidward did this all for him. Once again, Squidward admits to hating him and that he couldn't be in both places at once. SpongeBob realizes this and then also goes completely nuts. As the hatchling and slasher adds closer and closer, in an almost heartbreaking yet heartwarming scene, Squidward admits to liking SpongeBob, as he thinks he's literally gonna die. It's crazy to think about that in most episodes of SpongeBob, he despises him, but in the brink of death, he tells SpongeBob that he actually likes him, and cares about him, hugging him. The hatchling and slasher finally comes out into the light, and we just see a big old nerd come out, revealing his name is Richard and called, but was too scared to ask for an interview and just left the phone hanging. The light flickering ended up being a horror icon Nosferatu, which also really creeped me out as a little kid. I mean, come on, just look at him, he's really creepy. This is obviously the first interaction I had with him, and man, getting older, finally figuring out who that was, it was honestly pretty cool. The way he looked though and him flickering the lights like a menace was absurd for a kid's show for sure. Now that we went through the episode, imagine if SpongeBob stuck with it and actually has them fight or defend themselves against a serial killer. It would have been that much better, even though it surely would have been too much for a chosen show. Even though I was scared as a little kid, through the years I admired how different the SpongeBob episode was, with the tone being pretty much dark and gritty. I love the episode more and more every time I watch it, to be honest. If you guys know any other episodes that resonate as horror to you, or just creeped you out as a little kid, drop the episode in the comments. Hope you guys liked this different video of mine, but if you enjoyed, comment that also. Thanks again for watching, bye!